Saliva has already got a bullet in the chamber with a follow-up song to Josey Scott's 2 diss tracks, which were a response to Saliva's Hit 'Em Where It Hurts. And you already have one in the chamber ready to go.
Hold on one second. Housekeeping's at the door. I'm in a hotel.
Before we begin the show, let's thank our sponsors. First and foremost, our title sponsor, Once Upon a Coconut, all natural, non-GMO coconut water with natural electrolytes and no added sugar. You can choose from pure blueberry, pineapple, watermelon, sparkling energy, and chocolate flavors with Once Upon a Coconut. Stay hydrated and refreshed. And if you're wondering why it tastes so darn good, it's due to a combination of factors, including the freshness and sweetness of young coconut water, the lack of additives, and the natural electrolytes present. And the best part about it, Once Upon a Coconut, 10% of profits go to charity that benefit our communities, including the Down Syndrome Foundation, Breast Cancer Foundation, Leukemia Society. Good things, good people, great product. So you can grab it at some Sprouts. You can grab it on Amazon. You can go online to find a store near you or purchase it right there off of their website, onceuponacoconut.com. It is delish. Big thanks to Inspect All Pest Services, our buddy Nick and the crew over at Inspect All Pest Services, providing the highest quality termite, pest, and wildlife control. That's not all they do. Inspect All can take care of your insulation, pressure washing, gutter maintenance, and other home services in Metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. Remember, seasonal, you get different bugs and critters all around your house, so you want to go with the best in the business, and that would be one of our fine sponsors from day one, InspectAllServices.com. It's the Mad Dog, Manny Aurora, with the Aurora Law Firm, best darn defense attorney in the world, litigating all over the United States, based out of Georgia. We're talking criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, appeals, and more. And you can always get your legal questions answered by the Mad Dog, Manny Aurora, by getting those to me. And when he pops up on a show, you get your questions answered. So go to thebaileyshow.com and we'll get those questions to the Mad Dog. The Aurora Law Firm.com. He is the best in the business when it comes to therapists. There's no doubt about that. I use them, and so should you. We're talking about Dr. David Markwell with Ridgeline Counseling. He's got 10 therapists in-house, 3 different locations there in Georgia, one across from Sprayberry High School in Sandy Plains in East Cobb, Marietta near the Square in McKaysville, just outside of Blue Ridge. But if you're not in Georgia and you need to talk to the good doctor, then you can go online and get virtual sessions. Ridgeline Counseling at gmail.com if you'd like to email him directly, or go online to markwelltherapy.com. There is no better time to check if your insurance is any good. That's why FBC Insurance is waiting for you to reach out. You can call them at 888-308-1841 or email them info@fbcinsuranceservices.com. I just switched up my car insurance because I got a better deal at FBC Insurance. They were the people to find it. Perfect for new homeowners, especially if you're trying to reshop those current insurance policies. 5-star service, multi-policy, bundled discounts, and they're going to shop every carrier out there to find the best insurance for your house, flood, storm season, auto, motorcycle, boat, recreational vehicle, or just a personal policy. 888-308-1841 or go online, FBCInsuranceServices.com. Another one of our great sponsors in storm season. You have to talk to the good people at Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia. Family owned and operated. They are a Generac generator dealer, founded in 2012. So storm season, power goes out. Who knows when it's coming back on? Don't be that guy or girl that does not have a backup plan and having power for whatever it be, especially medical devices, fans, air conditioning, so on and so forth. Offering sales, service, installation, and repair of automatic home standby and portable generators, every single one of you. When you become a customer at Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia, you get an upgraded warranty, free monitoring, and warranty repair. A+ rating with the BB&B, and you pay nothing until the job is complete. Call or request a free home assessment. You can go to their website, poweringgeorgia.com, or buzz them at 770-853-7571. Use the discount code Bailey, my last name, and get $500 off your entire installation. All right? Servicing Georgia and Tennessee. Alive Ozone Therapy Spa in Altamont Springs, Florida. This is mine and my wife's wellness spa. If you have an autoimmune, cancer, HIV, just simple biohacking, long COVID, the answer is yes to just about anything that's going on in your body. Most of the time it starts with inflammation, and ozone therapy, it decreases inflammation. So ozone therapy, we are the first and only to do it in Central Florida. That is a live ozone therapy spa. We also offer red light therapy, halo therapy, pressotherapy, PMF grounding mat, as well as naturally in-house made ozone infused products like the magnesium butter that many of you absolutely love. Ozone therapy, what is it? Quickly, it repairs and rejuvenates your cells to the mitochondrial level by using activated oxygen. Simple as that. No side effects. That's all there is to it. It's a 30-minute session, and you actually burn up to 600 calories when you're in the Hocket sauna. We do it the most non-invasive way. So whether you're in the area or you want to travel, book an appointment, aliveozonetherapyspa.com. All the products you can get there as well. And remember, for you two peers, use the discount code BS10 to take that off those online products. If you want to be a sponsor of the show, reach out to me via thebaileyshow.com. And if you are a listener of this podcast and you need any of our great sponsors, please reach out to them. Now, let's begin.
I think we should do a podcast about rock and roll. And that's some stories.
Yeah, let's do it. Welcome to the Vinyl Road Podcast.
All right, there it is, episode 19 of the Vinyl Road Podcast, talking rock and roll, stories from the road, life, and everything in between. All on the BPX. That is the Bailey Podcast Exchange. 3 different shows, 5 days a week, 1 feed. You can get all your details, jasonbailey.com. Also, information on how you can subscribe to the other episodes if you choose. Thanks to all of our great sponsors for the BPX, including our title sponsor, which would be Once Upon a Coconut, onceuponacoconut.com. Use the discount code BSPodcast10 at checkout and save yourself some Gatises right then and there. And if you do want to become a sponsor on all the episodes, not just the Vinyl Road, reach out to me again on the newly revamped, beautifully designed jasonbailey.com. All right, thanks for being here. My name is Jason Bailey. There is the man himself, Mr. Brad Stewart. Hello.
Hey, how about you? What's up?
What city are you? Let's play the game. What city is Brad Stewart in? What city are you in?
Take a guess. We're in California. See if you can figure it out.
Well, I know you were just in Sacramento for Aftershock. Are you still in the Sacramento?
Epic. That was epic as fuck. No, we had a show last night in Bakersfield, so we are still in Bakersfield.
Why?
Well, we had another show that didn't work out in Pomona that was supposed to be today, and we haven't, I guess you should say, left Bakersfield just yet. The bus is going to get an oil change and it's going to get washed and shit. So we're still here, kind of just hanging. We're by a courtyard, and
you're like, damn it, the show in Bakersfield was canceled, but by God, Saliva's going to stay here until they put on another show.
But Bakersfield happened, but Pomona was supposed to be today. So we're like, okay, fucking day off. We'll take it, man. I mean, because it was it's fucking 35 shows. Now it's 34. I think we're on show like 26 of that or something. So, I'm okay with it, honestly. And Bakersfield ain't a bad town. Our guy, our stage manager, Scott Roberts, spent some of his life here, like, for about 10 years. And so he knows all the good spots to eat and where to park the bus and where not to park the bus and shit, So,
I never thought about that. If you've got, you got a crew, you go out on these tours and you got a crew of people, and you might be living in, Jacksonville or somebody in Nashville or something, but you grew up in Bakersfield or Sacramento or somewhere else in the country, and you don't get back there that often or ever. No need for you to get back there, but because of your job, you're on a rock and roll tour, takes you back there. That's kind of cool, right? I mean, it's to go back to a place that you don't normally go to where you grew up. That's neat.
It is, and he's actually from Alaska. So when we did Anchorage, he knew a bunch of people there too. Like, we got people from all over as far as our band and crew. So it typically just about everywhere we go, somebody knows someone there that's, willing to take us around or help us out and, let us know, bring us stuff for the bus and everything, whether it's, just supplies or,
How was
edibles.
How was Aftershock?
It was epic, dude. Like we played, so our stage included bands. So we did our thing. After us was Slaughter to Prevail. Are you familiar with that band?
Nope.
Jesus, bro. It was like it was amazing. I became a fan of that band just watching that one show. My wife flew out, Mary, and so she was like, "I'm gonna go watch him." So I went out there with her, like the last 20 minutes of the show, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like the drummer, first of all, was just watching the drummer by himself was a show, and they wear these masks and shit, and they're really heavy band, and I was glad we played before them.
Right.
Because once it gets that heavy, and we're heavy, but like we ain't that heavy.
Yeah.
You don't want to be after the heavy ass band. So after them, there was 2 stages going on, or actually there was like 4 stages. But so on our stage though, I think it was Chevelle after that, and then Gojira,
Mhm.
and then Korn.
Oof.
And I have to give it to fucking Gojira for their production and their pyro and their video, and like it was incredible, and it looked really expensive, but
Really?
it was fucking. I don't know if anyone topped it. The whole the whole the whole festival. I mean, Korn though, I fucking love Korn. Like they got up there, and I think Korn won as far as the songs go because they have so many. Like, I mean, I knew every song they played.
Well, Once,
Gojira
once,
on the
once you as a fan, you hear, get ready, the
wait,
beginning. Yeah.
they opened with Blind, of course. So
Are you ready?
yeah.
Once you hear that, it's, whether by designed by Jonathan Davis or not, but you can't have a better opening song. I mean,
Oh fuck yeah, dude! And they had a kabuki that dropped. They had a curtain. Had like a and then when the drums kicked in, that dropped, and it was just like, man, it was epic. It was really good, and we actually stayed in Sacramento the next day and went back to the festival and watched Manson and Zombie. So Zombie fucking killed it, and that was Zombie's last show. He said until like next August, like August 2026 or some shit. So I don't know if he's doing a movie or what's happening with that, but
who
I mean, of
headlined?
course.
Who headlined?
So the last day of the festival was Bring Me the Horizon was the last band to play, which
Really?
they had all kinds of shit. Do you like that? Manson was so far pushed up because of all of their production and shit they had on stage. Bring Me the Horizon stuff was just I don't even know how many tractor trailers they had full of shit, but it was a fucking, I mean, we're side stage for Manson, and I had to like angle myself to even see him because you couldn't, there's so much shit up there, so but we didn't say, we didn't stay for that. A couple of the guys did stay. I'm not really, I don't really know a lot of their songs. They're a great band. Obviously, they're to close the festival. That's a big spot.
Yeah.
It's also a tough spot though because a lot of people were leaving because 4 days of that shit and the heat and
Yeah.
that's there's gonna be some attrition at that point.
Yeah, the way, if people haven't been to Aftershock before, because my last radio stop was in Sacramento for the rock station there. And that was my first experience with Aftershock, my only experience. But the way that they have it laid out, it is very fan friendly. I mean,
Yeah.
it is so spread out, but yet convenient for you to get from big stage to big stage. And then, water, drinks in between, vendors I mean, the way, and places to even sit if you don't want to be in the crowd. Usually that last band on that last stage, there is stage right a hill where you can sit up on and just kind of look down on it. And it's perfect. I mean, you just lay out a blanket, and if you don't want to be in the pit and you don't want to be down on the ground, and you still have a phenomenal seat, which would cost you in an arena, hundreds of dollars. And that hundreds of dollars that you spend has gotten you 4 days of rock and roll, so they do I will, I don't have a lot of great things about my Sacramento stop, but I will say Danny Wimmer, and I've not been to Rockville yet. So Danny Wimmer and Aftershock knocked it out of the park. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it's laid out properly, and they know how to run a festival. I mean, because there's some festivals that we do that aren't Danny Wimmer Presents festivals, and they just don't a lot of times have their shit together. He's got it pretty. It's a well-oiled machine. Everything's planned well in advance. Everyone, he's got proper staffing. A lot of actually some of my friends from Jacksonville go to work at his festivals. He keeps people,
Yeah.
because Danny's actually from Jacksonville. But yeah, we look forward to playing his festivals. Next year we're already billed for Rockville and Sonic Temple. Looks like we're going to get Incarceration and Louder Than Life too. So
Wow.
yeah, we're stoked, man. I mean, it's always an honor to get up there and represent. Saliva is a good. I feel like it's a good, a great band for a festival type setting. I mean,
I
there's
agree.
a lot of energy in our set, and people know. We play the legacy songs, of course, but our newer songs. We played "Hit 'Em Where It Hurts." We play "Come Back Stronger." Of course, "High on Me," and it's about half and half as far as as far as the set goes for that kind of setting. But yeah.
Do the crowd song?
We didn't do crowd. It goes well. No, dude, no.
How do you
I know you're bummed.
how do you put the song? This is what I don't understand. How do you release the song? Like just recently, right? With the video and the whole shebang, and made a big deal about it on the Saliva social media, and then not perform that song, which is tailor made to be performed live. Like, I don't understand how you cannot do that.
Some things are not my call, and that's not my call. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here.
What's the problem?
I think it's a great.
What's
I
the
think
problem?
he's got maybe it's got a bit of a hard time singing some of those parts, and and that kind of thing. You want to go and come and with your best, your best songs that within your range that you can really knock out of the park. Maybe does that make some sense? I mean, again. We know the song. We decided to put "Hit 'Em Where It Hurts" and we took "Time Bomb" actually out too. So I mean, and again though, we only had 30 minutes. So trying to cram 12 records worth or 11 records worth of songs and singles from those records in 30 minutes. I think we played 6 songs, maybe 7. I mean, it's fucking tough to narrow that down. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something, Brad. I am so shocked that you guys were able to put in the song "Hit 'Em Where It Hurts" at Aftershock. I'm just absolutely blown away that you were able to get "Hit 'Em Where It Hurts" in the set list for Aftershock. The timing is amazing.
That song hits pretty good too, though, man. That
Great
song
song.
hits live. It's cool, and now there's some obviously some things going on with other songs, sort of in response to that song, I guess. Even though that song was written actually in 2021 when Wayne was still alive. So, but I mean, I guess it was taken as a diss track, and okay, whatever. And so now there's 2 songs that are out that
Yeah, let's set this up. Yeah, let's set this up. Let's set the table for everyone because
Okay.
I'm sure that people want to hear on this episode the recent happenings between the Saliva camp and the Josey Scott camp. Okay. Josey Scott, of course, the former lead singer of Saliva, Bobby, the current lead singer of Saliva. Over the years, there's been a back and forth of name rights, songs, and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, "Hit 'Em Where It Hurts" is released after Josey does an interview. And by the way, Blabbermouth loves Josey Scott. They love Josey Scott.
Yeah.
They did an interview and Josey referred to Saliva, the lineup of you guys now, for the most part, essentially as the Temu version, which I took as a compliment because kids love Temu. Anyway, so I don't think it was meant as a compliment, even though he backed off on those. Like he was like, I was it was taken out of context and this and that. Nobody believes that. But anyway, he kind of was a little disrespectful to you by like not even acknowledging you, right? I mean, like you didn't even exist when you were in the band, when he was in the band, which that was kind of shitty as your friend. I agree with that. So you guys in Saliva release Hit 'Em Where It Hurts, whether it's a diss track or not, it is. Come on, it is. Put it out there. And now Josey Scott releases 2 songs like on one day, and they, without question, are a diss track. I mean, he name drops Wayne in the song, not dissing Wayne, but talking about these stories and alluding to all these other things that I have no information on. You probably know. Bobby obviously knows. Josey knows. So there's more to this story than what we, the fans, realize. Let me first ask you this, okay? As a fan of rock and roll, Brad, you heard the Josey Scott diss tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like the songs?
Actually, I think the excuse me, hold on. I think the songs were well produced and sonically they sound like like professionally done recordings and obviously lyrically there's a meaning and a purpose and an intention there. I mean, I think that as far as that, if you're looking at it just from that perspective of how the songs sound, how they were produced, how they come across, I think they were done well. I mean, actually, as far as that goes, it wasn't like some budget sounding demo type situation. They sounded like pro recordings.
The producer, the Scatterbrains?
I don't know him. He was trashing us trashing Bobby on Instagram and saying that he done messed up now and like, like basically like they're gonna come after him and kill him or something. I don't know. It got a little weird, and we didn't even know who the guy was. And then we put it together, obviously, that's who was producing Josey's diss tracks.
Who is the guy?
He's a producer, I guess, in Nashville, I believe. But yeah, apparently he's connected to maybe like the what's his name, big boy. Jelly Roll Camp.
Jelly Roll, yeah.
Yeah, and that I don't know exactly how, if he's a writer or if he helped produce some of those tracks for him or exactly what. Don't really, I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess. But
pretty wise.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the song goes, I mean, it's a little tough for me because it still sort of comes with that playing the victim thing, even though he willingly signed contracts stating that if he left the band that he would forfeit rights to the name.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also trashed us and called his Temu version. And, so Bobby came back with, we released Hit 'Em Where It Hurts, obviously. And so then he comes back with two diss tracks. I haven't actually even heard I heard the famous one.
The shorter one was better. And if you're going for radio play, the first one was like 305 or something, which fits, radio wise. That was good. And it flowed. The second one was just shy of 4 minutes. Not as ear friendly and definitely not as radio friendly as the first one. Again, I like Josey. Like I always like Josey, so I the stuff that you guys have and whatnot. So I look at it from different perspectives, right? As your friend, I got your back, right? But as the radio guy that was a fan of Saliva from day one with Josey Scott, and throughout the years having him on my shows and gradually watching him diminish, unfortunately, it made me sad, made me angry because I thought, we had something, that radio rock star thing going, and I've told the story before. I'll never forget the last time that I interviewed him. It was out in front of the House of Blues, downtown Disney. He was wearing this like velvety jacket and he was horrible. I mean, he just was like, just so didn't want to be there and was kind of a dick. And I wasn't mad. I was like sad. I was disappointed because I was such a fan, but I don't know what was going on with that guy. So I'm in no place to judge. And then I like Bobby now that I've gotten to meet him, but I don't know Bobby all that well. I don't know Josey all that well. Right. Here's the thing. From a third eye perspective, this is, and Josey knows this, and anybody that calls himself Scatterbrains definitely knows this. This is just this. When you do this kind of stuff, there's no beefing in music doesn't really, I mean, I guess country music, they beef, but they beef over politics. That's what people are beefing over, right? Rock and roll needs a good beef. And if this brings more eyes and ears on Saliva and this brand of Saliva, and it brings more eyes and ears on Josey Scott, and it motivates him to do whatever it needs to do with his life and stay on the straight and narrow and be motivated to put out music. It's not like the guy's not talented. Then God bless him, and God bless you guys. I think build it up, polarize the fans, unite the fans in polarization, and let rock and roll live till one day when you guys are on a stage and the beef is done and he comes up and joins and everybody's kumbaya, and that's how it'll work. It's good. It's good for business. It's best for business, right?
I think it can be. I mean, he made a statement, I guess, on Blabbermouth saying that, you know, that the whole dissing and the back and forth thing is what rappers do, and that's not what rockers do. And you know, but he had to, you know, come back obviously with a response to it. I mean, you know, there is a little hypocrisy there. I mean, if you're talking about killing someone or you know, harming someone, but then you're like, you know, talking about how religious you are and all this. I mean, come on, bro. You can't be. Can you be both? I mean, or maybe it's just an act, and maybe it is just to get, you know, attention and draw attention to his side and or to our side. I mean, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing, regardless of what, you know, as far as that goes. I mean, the back and forth, this, that, and the other. We have plans to make more music and play shows, and that's what we've been doing. I mean, I've been in the band 10 years. I mean, that's like 1/5 of my life at that point. You know, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm some spring chicken, that Johnny come lately motherfucker that just got in this thing or into this fucking business. As far as that goes, I mean, I'm, you know, as a pro since what, 2001. So, you know, that's, you know, it's one of those things where people act like, oh, they're sick of them playing them cover songs, that tribute band shit. Yeah, okay, fuckface. But actually, you know, when most of the fucking set is actually new songs that have been put out over the years, tell me another one. You know what I mean? And you know, and also, I mean, at the time they were putting out records when I wasn't in the band, they had the backing of a fucking huge label called Island Def Jam that was committed to them to put their music out and fucking promote it. It's you know what I mean? So it's like, we didn't have that luxury, but the band's been on 4 different labels since then and put out 5 records. You know, so I don't know, man. When people act like that, I don't know what the fuck to you know what I mean? It doesn't make any fucking sense. You know what I mean? Like I'm some fucking, you know, some shithead off the fucking street that just started this shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Fuck that shit. You know what I mean?
Do you get asked about the Josey Bobby beef when you guys are on this tour? Like, fans come on, because you guys are great with your fans. You're, you know, the social media that I see and, you know, the pictures that you send me and stuff, you guys are so approachable, and I love that about Saliva. I love that about you guys, but I know that about you guys, right? I know, I've always known that about you, you know. But do the, you know, backstage meet and greet, whatever, somebody pull you aside and go, hey man, what's up with this Josey thing? Can you give me the inside scoop? Do you get that?
Occasionally, you know, and I mean, I think people though already know the answer if they're asking the question, but I guess they just want maybe a little bit more of an inside sort of
What do you tell them?
perspective on it. Well, we just kind of go, man, you know, look, again, he's been out of the band for so long, and the former members of the band kept it going, as we know, and kept the value in the brand out there, which actually made him money and kept his, you know, just kept it at a certain level. So now, again, here all these years later, to try to come back and claim like he's being bullied out of the name that he created. Keep in mind, dude, I helped come up with the name Shinedown, and I signed contracts, but I read the contract and I knew that if I got fired or if I quit, I don't get any part of fucking Shinedown anymore. As far as that goes, I don't participate, nor do I come back 10 years later and claim that it's my name and I need to take it back. And it's shame on them for using the fucking name for all those years. You know what I mean? I mean, that's like kind of fucking like, what is that? You know what I mean?
Or write a diss track, you know?
I mean, yeah, a diss track complaining about it when meanwhile you agreed to the terms of that situation.
Yeah.
And the trademark office didn't see it your way either, you know? So it's kind of like, I mean, the legality of it is what it is. I mean, and regardless of, you know, people are going to say what they're going to say. And, people, again, still say the same thing about the original Shinedown lineup, and so I'm on the other side of it as an OG. So I completely get both sides. But what I'm trying to say, though, is at this point, it's Saliva is this version as far as that goes, because that's the way it worked out over time. And that's the way legally that it was set up to do so.
Yeah.
So,
what would you tell Josey? Like, just be like, dude, stop. Just
no,
stop.
I want him to have success. I want him to have success. Absolutely. And all the people that are super into him and into what he's doing, I want them to why they need to show up to his fucking shows and buy his merch and be real fans, instead of bitching about the name like they know what the situation, or they know even anything about the music business. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's kind of like people on Facebook and when anything happens, they have to weigh in on it like they're fucking experts on the subject, and they have no idea. And there's some stories and some things that happen too that that aren't being disclosed. That they don't know about either. They see it for what they think is what in their head is right. If you know what I'm saying. So it's like,
absolutely. I mean, you can hear it in the lyrics of one, if not both, of those. I hate the word diss. So but I know that's the term. The diss tracks that Josey put out, you can hear that he's diving deep into stories that only a few people know. And you like Wayne, name dropping Wayne, right? I guess he's got every right to do it. They go way back, just like you go back and Bobby goes back and all that stuff. But to like bring him in the mix of a diss track when you have a problem with one person and one person only, when they are no longer around to say their 2 cents, to me, that's a little cringy. That part is a little cringy. Would you agree?
I agree. And just being in the band with Wayne for the last 10 years, or the last, I guess it would be, 8 years, and knowing some of the stories and the ins and outs of how things went down, and also him wanting to continue the legacy as it is. He would always say, hey man, if anything happens to me, you guys keep this thing going. Basically, don't hand it back over. And he would tell us that shit. So that came right from the guy that was carrying the torch since the brand and the band almost was done, imploded when he left all those years ago. So and to mention Wayne, look, Wayne's family, also his sister, they are 100% supportive. They showed up to, his nephew Brian showed up to Rocklahoma and his buddies, and they come to the shows. They totally support this because they know that Wayne supported and wanted this to live on. So at this point, I don't know what the solutions are, of missing come back and forth is, other than to draw attention. And if that's the case, then maybe it's going to work for both sides, and hopefully, and honestly, it's, his tracks sound like Josey on a Saliva track. So that's good on him. It's been years since he's released music, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, you guys inspired him, and you should be very happy that you have that kind of power to do that to an individual. So good for you. You should feel good about this. How about that?
And good on him for finally putting some stuff out there, and that, and there's a story behind it, and people are responding to it. I would imagine. I don't know if it's going to get a big push, and people are going to spend tons of money on promoting it and putting it out there. Maybe it gets legs of its own and goes viral, or he does a video. I don't really know what the plan is for that. I know that he did feel the need to respond, though, but also know that there's another track that's been recorded that could be in response to his responses. So
hold on. You're trying to wait a minute.
Stay tuned for yeah.
Hold on. You're trying to tell me that Saliva has already got a bullet in the chamber with a follow-up song to Josey Scott's 2 diss tracks, which were a response to Saliva's Hit 'Em Where It Hurts, and you already have one in the chamber ready to go.
Hold on 1 second. Housekeeping's at the door. I'm in a hotel. Hey, we're supposed to have this till 4. 4, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So to answer my question is yes.
Hold on. It always brings me back to Tommy Boy. Me need sleepy. You know what I'm talking about? Housekeeping.
I think you cued the housekeeper. I think that's not. I don't
No,
think
that was real. That fucking really happened, dude. We had to extend the room because you were at the vet with your pups, man. So I
Yeah.
was like, hey, dude, I need to this fucker till at least. I mean, I'm on Pacific time, but anyway, that was funny. that was
Yeah. I
fucking
still haven't
hilarious.
got my answer, by the way.
Wait.
So
All
you
right.
have a song in the chamber. You have a
Yes.
bullet in the chamber. Yeah.
We do. Yes, we do. I think before we go any further, though, there's some attorney. We're making sure that. We're making sure that before we release anything else, that there's the that we're covered legally, so to speak, because there's some other things happening um, legally, so to speak, between the two parties that I can't really disclose. So you know what I'm saying. So we're trying to figure out when we will respond with said track. But yeah, there is a track that has been recorded. Oh yes,
And it was the lyrics, I'm assuming, and recorded way before these songs. So it's not like a rapper where you just spit out lyrics in response to lyrics that have just been spat at you. This is already done prior.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a diss, and that has to sort of um, react to what was said in the last two disses. I mean, because there's stories and there's situations that may have been held back from on the first go round, regardless of whether there was a comeback or a response to the first song. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that we didn't have to wait for a response. In other words, to make another track. As far as that goes, but we just didn't release them both at the same time. Like you know what I'm saying. So yes, there is another song.
Yeah,
at least one more song.
I don't know why. I don't know why he did two in one day. That's you're wasting. I mean, that was just a waste because nobody's going to say I like them the same. Everybody, people are going to say I like one over the other, which is going to dismiss the other one. And I mean, unless you've got an entire catalog of diss tracks that's gaining attention and stuff. I mean, I think, just by what I've read, off Blabbermouth, it seems like his producer, the Scatterbrains character, this guy is kind of leading the charge. And I don't know, something tells me the Scatterbrains guy's kind of, playing the puppet stuff. And again, it's not a shot to this dude. I get it. I understand it. I understand how you work the system and you want to get attention. And, you look at your resume and you look at all these very big artists that you're working with and you bring Josey Scott on, no offense to Josey, but not at the level of Jelly Roll or, looking at, I was just looking at his Instagram, like Billy Ray Cyrus even. And I guess he's got some smaller artists and whatnot. But anyway, my point is like, you're like, I'm going to make something out of what could possibly most likely be nothing. And here's how we're going to do it. The guy gets it. We have a storyline. All you need to do is start with a storyline. That's all you got to do. It's wrestling 101. I mean, the world is wrestling, and if you abide by those rules, you'll knock it out of the park every time. I subscribe to it. Good for him.
What's inspiration too. I mean, and it's subject matter and it's also saving face, and there's going to be people and you said it before, like there's power in division as there is in unity. So, I mean, and it doesn't look like unity. We tried unity. I mean, we tried to, hey, let's do shows and have two singers, kind of like 3 Days Grace ended up somehow doing really well, which they were just at Aftershock. We were just played with those guys. And Neil is actually partners with Howard Benson. So the drummer, so Judge and Jury, I mean, those guys, but they made it work. They brought Adam back and it's fucking awesome. Like with both singers is really good, dude. I mean, so it's one of those things where I think we did extend the olive branch, several years ago, and, Blue Ridge happened and he, of course came on stage and sang the last 3 songs of the set. And, that there was plans for more of that to happen. And then, it just didn't work out. Again, like I said, unity didn't didn't work. So it became division, and that's now what we're living in and with on both, so, and I'm on one side of it, and that's where I'm, what, but I mean, now, do I necessarily agree with the way things have been handled on either side? No. I mean, I think it could have been a very powerful thing to have both. And I think that the value of that would have been even higher to have both,
Yeah. Yeah.
but not because now, I don't know. We're still playing great shows and having fun. This version with Bobby singing with just the one singer, of course, and playing the new songs that have been written and and traveling around the country doing what we're doing. Again, there's big plans. We got shit cooking, man. So I mean, and hopefully he does too. I mean, he's got his own band. I mean, I guess though it still comes down to like, I think there was misuse of the trademark. And there was confusion in the marketplace that happened as a result of the way he used the name in conjunction, with his shows that he was, and the way the agents and the way those shows were promoted. So there was, there may have been some losses that we incurred because of that. Listen, this is not my fight. I'm just trying to tell you that I'm in it, but like this is not. It's really between Bobby and Josey as far as the name at this point, and as far as how it's going to be used or how it's not going to be used on
Yeah.
either side. And that's really, their attorneys and everyone's. It's like I said, there's legal things. It's getting worked out, and
Well,
that's the size of it, man. I mean, it's
the next step would be for his bassist to go after you. That would be cool.
I know his bassist is. I mean, and I have nothing against him or his bassist or any of that shit, bro. I mean, I'm out here. I play rock and roll music, dude. For nightly, I write music. I do what the fuck I do with whatever band I'm in at the time, and I've been in
Mhm.
quite a few bands. I've been lucky enough to be in, So I mean, it's like when it starts getting super like
Personal.
personal and political and this and that. I mean, Josey hadn't been around. I filled in for Saliva in 2008, so and that was when he was still in the band. And once he left, though, we didn't really hear from him. And then I joined in 2015, and then again, he would kind of talk to Wayne on and off via text and stuff like that. But like, he was kind of doing his own thing. So here and then of course 10 years later after he left, now then it became a thing with the reunion and the 20-year anniversary of Every 6 Seconds and all that. So anyway, man, like I'm trying to live in the present and looking forward to the future, bro. And with that holds, I can't live in negativity of whatever drama happened back then with whoever the fuck. I just, what I mean? Dude, life's too fucking short, man. I just want to play music and have some fun out here.
So, was changing subjects. Aftershock. For months, I asked a favor of you, and
I know. I'm sorry, dude. She couldn't find the shirt. She can't, and that's my fault because I had it upstairs when I wore it on the show, and fuck, that was my fault. However, we did not do press for that station. They were in the artist media area,
Mhm.
but Saliva did not conduct any interviews with said station or anything that day at all. We were pretty busy. Bobby's daughter Veda was there and his wife Amber, and so she got on stage with us, of course, for High on Me for the Saliva set, and then later on that day, her and Austin Winkler and Bobby did like a 25 minutes like acoustic set.
Solid.
Which was really cool. I mean, so there was things happening all day, and going and doing press at the station just wasn't on our list,
Did they
unfortunately.
ask you? Did they ask you?
They definitely didn't ask me.
Oh,
So I mean, I'm not going to just walk over there and volunteer my. If they would have set it up through management and through
right.
but they didn't, and obviously, so our manager also manages Flyleaf. So Lacey was also
I saw
involved.
that. Yeah.
Also involved, which was super cool. And she also sang. Lacey sang with one of our managers' other bands, Scary Kids. She got up and did that with them. Like they were pretty early in the day on the other stage.
Was
So
she-
man, we were all over the place. I mean, there's just shit going on everywhere, and we were watching bands. We're seeing friends. Whenever we go to those festivals, you see bros, and you're like, oh shit. Wait, who you here with? Oh, fuck, it's really cool, and it's like a reunion of sorts because you see the bands that you're friends with, and the crew and everybody. And then I saw Danny, of course, hugged his neck, thanked him.
Yeah.
Saw his wife Kathy, Danny Wimmer and Kathy Wimmer, and thanked him for having us and stuff. So I mean, it was really a great experience, man. But
is Flyleaf still a thing?
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't put out new music in a minute.
I think it's in the works. I mean, let
me just tell you about Lacey. So, going back to when they launched mid 2000s, I guess early mid 2000s, and they were doing. This is how far it goes back. Nokia. Okay, Nokia presents the summer concert series at the Hard Rock Live Orlando. And it was an MTV production.
Wow.
And I hosted them, and this was going on for a month plus. And what we would do, it was shot for TV. So for the people that don't understand what that means, is you're recording as it's live, right? So I, as the host, would have to go out there prior and read this like 8-page disclaimer. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever been the only person with a microphone as just the radio person. Not everybody know, they're not there for you. Let's just put it that way. And you walk out in front of 2,200 people and say, hey, hang on for a minute. I've got to read 8 pages to you real quick. It was blistering. It was one of the toughest things I've ever had to do. And the stage manager was this British guy. So I learned after like the first night, I would bring him out and make him the heel. So I would read like a paragraph and I'd point to him and everybody would boo and say cuss words and stuff like that. So I turned it into an onstage bit. It was really good. Anyway, the point of me telling the story, one of the bands that was performing for this Nokia Presents concert series from MTV was Flyleaf. And, that first song that hit radio was a hit. I was like, cool, fan, obviously female lead singer, different, very cool. We're now getting into, we've got Evanescence, we've got Flyleaf. This is kind of cool going on right now.
Hailstorm was in the mix there too, I think.
No, Hailstorm didn't come
yet.
until for a year. Yeah, a few years later. And I remember I called Steve-O and I said, dude, you've got to see this band. Like I thought I was cool. Like I was young in my rock career. I was like, I think I landed a band for you, man. I mean, dummy, drink for being stupid. They're on stage for MTV performing. They've obviously got a deal. He's like, yeah, bucket. They're already taken. He was like,
yeah,
I think that might've been the last time I ever talked to the guy. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. And I saw the picture. She looks great. And I just didn't know, is she another Flyleaf, another band on the judge and jury roster?
Don't think on judge and jury, but the connection was the manager, our manager, Zach. That's his band. He manages Butcher Babies and Flyleaf and Saliva and
cool,
Scary Kids. So that was sort of the connection. Now I think Veda, maybe they were connected through judge and jury with her before too, because we met at Rockville. I guess it would have been last year. We met up with Lacey and stuff
together
too.
A roster, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, man. If they're not with them, they should be. I mean, I know they've been acquiring bands and singers, and of course, Earshot's working with them now, and so is 12 Stones, which it was super cool to see Paul up there with Evanescence. Paul McCoy, he's a bro, doing Bring Me to Life. Did you see that?
No. So Evanescence was that Aftershock?
Yeah, weren't they on Thursday?
I don't know. I don't. And
well, he got up on stage with them recently, very recently. I'm pretty sure it was that Aftershock.
I thought they had a falling out. I thought that was like one of the issues, because when you have such a big song,
may have been louder in life. Fuck.
Like Bring Me to Life.
My head is like crazy, dude. We've been on the road doing fucking shows. I don't even know what fucking day it is. I don't even know.
But when you have such a big song like that, And then, you have to have that part in the song, and you're so used to take me, you're that like, it just there's something, it's just like, Don't Close Your Eyes, Lita Ford and Ozzy. Lita, sings that song. I saw her a couple year or so ago, and it's great. She's Lita Ford, and she's a queen, and she's an icon. I love her. Yeah. But the Ozzy part from the guitarist just does not fly, right?
No, it doesn't hit like Ozzy doing it on the guitar side.
Yeah. And I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I understand. It's like all these rappers, Eminem, they just track Rihanna or whatever the case may be, unless they get a local artist to come out, which is pretty cool. But I thought they had a falling out, because like for decades, you never saw Evanescence perform Bring Me to Life and Paul from 12 Stones come out. At least I did.
I think it had been something like 11 years since he had got up there with them. So maybe there was some drama in the middle of that until it finally happened quite recently. But hey, man, I never thought I'd jump up there with Shinedown again, and that shit happened, and it was incredible. So I mean, it's things. Maybe it's something in the universe. People are karmic loops coming back, or things coming full circle, and things being
life's sort of short. Life's
mended, exactly, and then there's some division too out there in the world, obviously, that we're experiencing. So, but I just thought it was really cool. And Paul actually jumped on a show with us that we did, like a festival type show in Ohio, and the very next day he was on stage, I'm pretty sure, with Evanescence. So that was fucking cool. He's a good dude, and known those dudes for a long time. In fact, back in the early Shinedown days, we did shows with, I'm talking like 2003 with those guys. I mean, it's a long time to be friends with people in bands and stuff, and seeing them throughout their careers. Yeah. And he looked great. I'm pretty sure he's sober. He looked like he lost some weight and everything, and sounded great. So, good on him, man. And good on people for coming back together, and, letting bygones sort of be bygones,
Yeah. Amy Lee is just a treasure, man. She is just so talented, and I interviewed her once, and I think she's married to like a physician or something, or she was. And this
good for her. Don't marry someone in the music business, right? Wow.
Well, it was after she and Sean Morgan of Seether, had that public romance and the song and all that stuff. And it was like 2007 or something. And I want to say it was Amy. I'm pretty sure. And she's like, yeah, I'm married to like a doctor or something. I was like, cool. I was like, I don't know who it's cooler for, you or him, right? Like, on the doctor, I'm running around going, yeah, Amy Lee's my wife. kind of thing, and she's probably like, oh yeah, my husband's a physician. I don't need to do this rock and roll stuff really anymore if I don't want to.
Yeah, just pick and choose shows and tours, or not. Just hang out. Your guys bringing in the money, and then you get to be home. I got
to rephrase that. It was kind of a sexist statement. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to sound sexist. Like because he's the man, he's making more money. In my head, it came out.
She might make more than he does, bro. She wants to fucking hit songs and sell some records. He might be more stoked to be her husband than vice versa.
That's not what I meant. That's not what
I didn't take it that way. So hopefully people don't. But fuck, man, these days you can't say anything and people get all fucking bent. So,
I know. But, where are you off to next?
So we're doing the Whiskey in Hollywood.
So cool.
The Whiskey A Go-Go, the legendary Whiskey A Go-Go, and we did that last run. So I don't think Lilac's on the bill on that one. The Whiskey's in an interesting place. They typically have bands that will pay to be on shows, national acts, that come through and everything. So, you have a situation where there's bands that aren't part of your tour package that are magically appear on the stage. And then there are bands that are on the tour package that are not on the bill somehow. So anyway, not my call or my issue or my problem. That's with the agents and the managers and shit. But then after that we head to Phoenix, then New Mexico, and then we start making our way to Texas, man. And I mean, I want to say we have 9 shows left, because they added the 2. They added Daytona, and they added Midland, Texas on the 18th, and then this tour will be done.
Yeah, but Daytona Rockville's not until
No, this is for Oktoberfest, October 17th.
Like
Yes,
October
yes, yeah.
17th.
And then we're doing like Lone Star Rally in Galveston on November 6th. I mean, it's not the end of shows for us for the year, but there's more like a weekend type shit coming up after this tour actually ends. So
Yeah, that's
um,
good. Big
yeah,
2026 though. I mean, it seems like
yeah, yes. And
everything.
we've moved agencies once again, as far as booking goes. Don't really have to go into that, but in doing so now there's a lot more lead time to get the plans together for next year, and that's one thing this tour kind of suffered as far as lead time to promote some of these shows. And we're playing on a Monday night somewhere in Bakersfield. So I mean, and it was right after Aftershock, and there were people actually that had Aftershock shirts on in the crowd, and I'm like, fuck, man, y'all just went through 4 days of that shit and you still came to the Saliva show on a fucking Monday. Like, good on you and good on rock and roll, man. God bless you, motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy to me, So it was one of those things though, when the shit was laid out. I mean, I guess Bakersfield is only 3 or 4 hours from Sacramento, so I'm sure people from Bakersfield went to, so anyway, and some of the shows have been great and very well attended, of course. And, but some of the shows, I think some of the timing and the lead time, I mean, if you have 6 months, that's good lead time for a tour. That's the good typical way to promote something. People can get babysitters and figure their lives out and plan and get tickets and figure out who they're going with well in advance. But you give them a month, it's tough.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, I'm glad things are working out. Sounds like it's a blast out on the road. As always, I appreciate you taking the time, whatever hotel and city you're at,
yeah,
to do the Vinyl Road podcast. The Vinyl Roadies are appreciative as well. They know they can always come here. We're lucky to be doing this podcast in the middle of Bobby Scott Gate, so you guys, you roadies, you get to hear it for the most part firsthand and not have to read anything. The Blabbermouth and all these other pubs, they'll listen to this podcast and they'll get the information that they need and they'll write what they want to write. But at least we have an outlet. Like Josey doesn't have a podcast. Bobby doesn't have a podcast. Scatterbrains, or is that his name? What is it? Scatterbrains. Yeah. Scattered Brains does not have a podcast. I don't believe. I mean, he's a big to-do. Looks like a cool guy. I'm looking at his Instagram right now. Beautiful wife. Big guy, or good size guy, I should say. But you know what? He doesn't have podcasts. Look at him at Disney. Look at that.
Yeah, man. I don't really know him or anything, but yeah, I don't know that he does have one. Maybe he does. I mean,
no, I don't think.
Maybe it's just easier for them. I mean, probably focus on what they make money on. And for podcasting, if you're Joe Rogan, right? I mean, you're kicking some ass.
I want to know why he's
we have some work to do. By the way, please buy the merch and sponsor the fucking show. We could use the help, right?
Thanks to the Vinyl Roadies for going to jasonbailey.com in the merch shop and getting the Vinyl Road podcast shirts, wearing them to the shows. I appreciate that. Continue to do that, please. I am currently working on a new design for you guys for the Vinyl Roadies, because that private Facebook group is pretty decent size.
Yeah.
So our way of saying thank you for the support and all that good stuff. Now, mind you, I appreciate, you guys watching on YouTube, because this is a free show on the BPX and Spotify and the other platforms and whatnot. But it'd be helpful if you guys, you can repost on Instagram now, you can share on Facebook. You can, even though the Vinyl Road podcast doesn't have a Facebook page, if you go to jasonbailey.com, you will see that there is an entire network of podcasts and social media. So, Brad shares it. I share it under my personal at Mr. Jason Bailey. So there's different ways to get the word out. And that's what we need. Buy the merch. It's cool. It's great. I'm doing something right for you. But, you got to find like one person in your network. I tell this to the listeners of the BS, which that's my OG radio audience from different markets. And the Honey I Raised the Kids, which is I'm trying to still get off the ground because that's a totally different audience. In order to make it big and make it grow, you guys got to share that shit. So do me a favor and do that. Just like,
yes, thank you in advance. Thank you in advance for doing so.
Yeah, thank you.
That helps us tremendously. It really does.
Huge.
And for people that have followed me and my career and the bands I've been in and the songs I've written and been able to be a part of and just the life. I mean, I'm out here living it, thankfully still living it 24 or 5 years later since when I started as a pro. So, I mean, for me, I'm honored to be still doing it on this level and to have people that show up and care. And just for me, not even for the band. I mean, my friend came out the other day or last night that I met the dude. His name's Apollo. I met him 23 years ago or something. We were playing with Static X. Shinedown was playing with Static X in a parking lot of a hotel. Seriously, and he was like, and I hadn't seen him really much, and it's been a long time. So I mean, it's cool that people like to still have them showing up after all those years, and for me to still be out here, playing and shit. So yeah, we appreciate the hell out of the support. We really do.
I think 2026 is going to be an interesting turn for rock and roll. You're starting to get kind of this rock vibe that's back. I know we always kind of point at Youngblood, like he's kind of carrying the torch, and he just got done doing an American tour. And I got to tell you, if you're not following that dude on social media, he is something special, dude. Like he doesn't try, but he is it. Like the way that he comes across and talks to people, like this dude, I read that this dude bought his childhood house for his mother, paid like $6.3 million for it, and turned it into a house to home the homeless. Like, wow. And he's not on social media talking. I read it somewhere else, and then you see him in, and again, remember going back to the beginning of Shinedown days, you could see him at your local barbecue with your radio station. You could see him then at the House of Blues and the Hard Rock Lives. Then you could see him at the arenas where your basketball team plays. And then you got to go and got to pay to see him in the stadiums, so we've all seen that progression in bands. New Blood right now, or Young Blood, I said New Blood, Young Blood right now is doing that Hard Rock House of Blues kind of run kind of thing. And he's meeting fans and he's signing autographs. Get a picture with that dude. Get that dude's autograph, because I'm telling you, within 5 years, he's going to be a rock god.
I think even before that. I mean, in America, I mean, and having Ozzy and doing the Aerosmith songs, great song. I think it was a killer. It's awesome. I mean, just aligning himself with legends and icons already, and then his first, and Ozzy even told him, he was like, you need to conquer America, dude. You need to go over there and figure it out. And that's exactly what he's doing. I think he's coming to Orlando at like June 1st. Did you see this? He's announced dates in America.
Yeah, he's got to have a second leg next year in America.
Oh yeah. Okay. But I mean, I'm hoping I'm around for that. I mean, honestly, we usually tour during the summer, but I'm hoping to actually attend that. Maybe get to meet the guy. I mean, he's
the dude, man.
Fucking love him, man. There's a lot of good bands out there. Are you familiar with Sleep Token?
Yeah, really good.
They're a great band, and they've been around a minute too. But I think this last record, they're really getting some attention. And of course, there's just the bands that we mentioned already today on the podcast. Like Slaughter to Prevail, and of course Gojira's been around, but they're kicking ass. They were out with Korn, and the guy was the singer on stage thanked Korn for having him out. And I mean, it was cool, that festival in particular. I mean, I think we had a great day as far as, I mean, the last day, of course, yesterday or 2 days ago was Zombie and Manson was pretty fucking badass too. But we had a good day.
I would say it's harder for bands with band names this day and age to become mainstream versus an artist or a band with just a name. Does that make any sense? Like one dude with the band. For some reason, think about the people that are mainstream and that are popular and that are getting the attention. They're just a name of a dude, or just a name of a person, even if they have a band. Even Daughtry, it's Daughtry and introduces the band, that kind of stuff. You don't I mean, I can't think of, maybe I'm off, any current band, top 40 country, whatever, that has popped in the last couple of years. It's all been singular named people. Jelly Roll.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Does it make, maybe that's a psychological thing in society, who knows? But it's just FYI for you upcoming artists. Fuck your band. Just name it after you. Okay.
It could be that's almost like a country music thing. Like it's usually
Right.
Alan Jackson, or it's
Jason Aldean.
Jason Aldean, exactly. So maybe, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's some really great rock bands out there, man, that are that are, I think, are poised to break out, that aren't just somebody's name. Just look at the festival lineup. I mean, there's a band called what's it, Lakeview. There's a band that sound kind of similar to Sleep Token. They're on our day.
There's a bunch of good,
fucking good band, man. I mean, it's anyway. It's just, I think rock's tough though, because as we know, rock, it hasn't been the focus for a long time as far as as far as music goes. Popular music goes. It's been more in hip hop and urban and country and stuff like that. And rock, there's the rock people and the metal that just haven't had the attention and the exposure, I should say, for like there was in the 80s and 90s for rock and roll. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you why.
2000s even,
because rock was the original rebellious genre. I mean, go back to Elvis. I mean, it was, don't listen to that devil music, and then you get into Priest and all these. It was rebellious music. Right. And so you look at today, what are people rebelling against? The only thing they're rebelling against is politics. You go waste your time and you go out there and you scream at the top of your lungs and think that you're making a difference, and whatever the case may be, artists that will wave a flag for one side or wave a flag for another side, that's the only thing to rebel against. There's literally nothing else to rebel against. In the 80s, what do you want to do with your life? We're rebelling against our parents. We were latchkey kids, right? So that's what we rebelled against. In the 90s, we took it a step further. We're not only rebelling against our parents, but we're really sad while we're doing it. And, versus the 80s, when we were rebelling against our parents, we were sneaking out in the middle of the night to go do lines and drink whiskey. In the 90s, we were like, dude, I ain't got the energy for that. Just put it in my veins. So the 90s was a different type of rebelliousness. Then you get into the 2000s and we kind of ran out of things to rebel against outside of politics. And that only lasts for so long, and it's not fun. It's not cool, right? It's not a cool, it's not the mass relatability factor of I hate my parents because they make me. You know what I mean? So
and like you, further to your point though, like I think the drug of the generation has a lot to do with the music of said generation. If you're on cocaine and you're in the 80s, you're happy, you're jacked up.
Yeah.
It comes across in the music. If it's the 90s and you're on heroin, now we're in the grunge part, and then ecstasy got big, and then dance music and EDM got kind of big, and I think and you look at the fucking 60s into the 70s, and it was LSD and weed, and exactly. And now that shit's legal, and it's as strong as it could fucking possibly be too. And people microdosing mushrooms and shit. And I don't know. I mean, I think that rebellious spirit's still there. I think, it just maybe generationally speaking, this is a different generation that's happening right now with my kids and even younger kids these days. They had to deal with COVID. They had to deal with some bullshit that we didn't have to deal with. So, and I think it's affected them socially and not in a good way, unfortunately. And there's I remember when I was a kid, I'm like, man, it'd be cool to have a TV on my fucking phone. Like, what if I had like a phone that was not only portable, but I could go watch some shit on this thing. And then now you see people walking around and then social media and then they're glued to that shit, and it can be used against them. It can, it can ruin your life and your data and politically, and people taking over, and here comes Elon Musk rescuing free speech with Twitter, buying it for way more than it was fucking worth. But he did so for a reason, and I'm glad he did because it needed to be done. And I don't give a fuck if people agree with me or not. So, but that those types of things I do believe were used, and come to find out later against people, and to sway opinion, to sway votes, and to put people into power that probably shouldn't have been put into power. So, it's a different world out there, bro. It's crazy,
Well,
and I see it. And look, we were just in Portland, Oregon. That used to be one of my favorite places to visit.
ugh,
There's people shooting up on the fucking street across from our bus where we were playing.
yeah.
And there's building fires in the fucking on the sidewalk. They're building a fire, and then here comes whoever in their uniforms, and they ask them to move along, and they move along, and then a couple hours go by, and the same people are right back where they were. So it didn't solve anything. You know what I mean? So it's like now we go to those cities, and I'm like, all right, don't leave the fucking bus until we go in the club and play it, and then we're gonna get the fuck out of there, man. Because it's rather sad, honestly, to see that Seattle's the same way, and I'm like,
California is just
California's it's rough, dude, and we're in Bakersfield. I mean, we had to leave the area so no one fucks with us, you know what I mean, or there's problems, man, and I think there's we go to other cities though where it's not like that. Major cities where it's not like that. So obviously somebody's figured it out,
Yeah.
We go to other countries and they figured it out,
Yeah. That's interesting. We should have that conversation one time. I want to wrap this up now, but like the generation of rock and roll and the drug of choice and the rebelliousness of choice and what people were into to make the music what it was. That's a Netflix doc, to be honest with you. I mean, we're just kind of briefly talking about it. And as you're talking, I'm going, that's really fucking interesting, man. I just never even broke it down like that before. What do you have now? Because the last of the drug list is fentanyl. That should just kills you smelling it. That's not fun. You know what I mean? And so anyway, all right, look, saliva.com, go to the website, follow them on social media, get all the details, obviously, for the tour. I say this all the time, if you want the tour or if you want Saliva to play in your city and they're not, reach out to your local radio station. Don't bother calling them because they're not going to pick up your phone, but just go to their social media and post on it and post a lot. If you're a Saliva diehard fan, I'm sure that you're a part of some type of online social community where you guys can rally together and post on these radio stations' social media. I promise you, as a guy that's been in the radio business for 3 decades, if there is a huge outpouring on a radio station social media, which most of the time, if not all the time, sucks, and they get something like that and that kind of response, and they know they're going to sell tickets, they will bring the show to your city. Promise you. That's just how it works. So just an idea. All right.
Well, that, and we do real quick, we do get people that still, when the tour is announced, they ask why we're not playing in their town, and it's because of what you just said. There's not enough noise being made to bring us there, or so it does really actually does help our cause to come to your city if you are reaching out to those people and trying to get the promoter of that place or wherever bands play in that town to bring us in, or to the station, or to that really does help, because otherwise we're not going to go there, because the perceived demand, there's supply and demand, and whoever's in control of that market or whoever our agent's dealing with, if they don't think it's going to be a success, then we don't come by there, because just how it works, man. It's not like the band's like we're intentionally dodging cities. We want to play for everyone, wherever we can, that people are going to show up for, man.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to ask this before we go. Who was the green guy that got up on stage with you guys at Aftershock?
I don't know, some guy in the crowd. Bobby will a lot of times he'll watch the crowd, and he'll see he'll try to pick out who knows the words to the songs as we're playing. And that guy stood out, and he was like, I want that guy. And they brought him up, and of course he knew the words to Click, and at the end there, so it was cool. It's kind of cool to see. He brought Santa up. There was a Santa Claus guy at Welcome to Rockville, so he brought him up on stage and shit. It's just we didn't know that guy from Adam, so it was like kind of a a thing.
It's risky.
Yeah. It was.
All right, look, remember, there on this podcast feed, it's called the BPX, the Bailey Podcast Exchange. Hi, I'm Jason Bailey. It's my last name. Monday through Friday, there is content for you. Mondays, I release an episode with my wife called Honey, I Raised the Kids. It's about us becoming empty nesters and starting the second stages of our lives. That's that kind of content if you're into it. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, it's the BS, very much like my radio show has been over the years. It's a guy show women love to listen to. Wednesdays are free episodes. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do for subscribers. I've got a very large subscriber list of people that support the product and the show and the content they have for years. If you would like to try it out, give it a shot. I'd highly appreciate that. You can subscribe by going to jasonbailey.com. And of course, Fridays, the Vinyl Road podcast. All the shows have their own Instagram at Honey, I Raised the Kids, at Listen to the BS, at the Vinyl Road podcast. And then the BS also has Facebook and Twitter and our YouTube channel at the Bailey Podcast Exchange. So everything is on jasonbailey.com. You get all the links. If you want to become a sponsor, you can reach out to me there. Merchandise, our newsletter that we're back, thanks to the Bald Badger, who is one of my co-hosts on the BS. He's helping me out, putting the newsletter out every week. I'll have to put your email on the list because I know you won't get around to signing up. So you, Brad, can get the BPX newsletter on a weekly basis. How about that?
All right, man.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Ow.
All right. You got anything before we get out, brother man?
Just always like to tell everyone how grateful I am that that they are listening and that supporting rock and roll, man. I think rock and roll is going to take it back over, man. But we need the support, and we need to snowball it. And I think next year is going to be big, even though it's not a rock band at the Super Bowl, but that's okay.
It's
we'll figure it out maybe for the following year. How's that?
A cycle is every 20, 25 years, give or take.
Yeah.
So the last time rock and roll was mainstream relevant was mid to late 2000s, to be honest with you. Yeah. That was the real rock or rock alternative. Rock. Yeah, was that what it was called? Anyway, that's when you had just a plethora of different bands, rock and roll bands, different genres. Obviously Shinedown and Saliva and Godsmack and Seven Dust and Linkin Park and Biscuit, Korn and
heavy music, and rock and metal. That's big shit, man.
And then then you had like Good Charlotte and Starting Line and CKO and all those other kind of pop punk bands that were there as well, which was pretty cool. Evanescence, Flyleaf,
Yeah. I have one more thing to say. I'm pretty proud of the Jacksonville Jaguars for beating the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night in front of God and everybody, because that was something that I think we finally have a coach that, and that can rally our team and that is good for Trevor Lawrence, our quarterback. We got some good, our fucking defense is kicking some ass, bro. Watch out for that defense. I tell you what, man, they're winning games for us too. I mean, got to win on both sides of the ball. But I'm so proud. It's been a tough road as a fan and as a resident of Jacksonville, Florida, for this team. So I am hoping for, we're 4-1, man.
Okay.
That's pretty impressive. And we knocked off a big one last.
Yeah. Slow your roll for a second. Okay. The Jacksonville defense. Yes. I believe they lead the league in turnovers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But sack wise, they're not up there. They need to get way better with sack.
Anyway. Yeah, but they're blocking field goals. I mean, they're pick six. Okay. I mean, they're making plays that matter, though, man. Sacks, yes, that matters. But but they're up there, bro. Come on.
Listen to me. You should not have won that Kansas City game. If it weren't for Chris Jones deciding he was done playing football for the evening, there's no reason. I mean, that was probably the flukiest play I've ever seen. The defensive lineman gave up because they thought Trevor Lawrence was tackled. And I mean, it was a whoop-de-woo, man. I mean,
but at the end of the day,
you're right. It's a W.
It was a W. So, I mean, and honestly, dude, over the years, how many times have the refs given shit to fucking Kansas City and to some of these teams where it was like, come on, man, not even the refs. It's just one of those things where I don't care. It's like, my wife's family's from Pittsburgh, and it a lot of times it ain't pretty, but the fucking Steelers figure out a way to win the fucking game. It might be like 6-3 or some shit. I mean, it don't matter, but they still win the game. And Mike Tomlin is a fuck of a coach. I mean, he's bad, dude. And those players want to play for him. They want to win for that team, for that city, and they do. And it ain't always pretty, but it fucking happens, man. And they're always contenders, but not always. But I mean, they're a good fucking. That's a great organization, man. You know,
Go Jags. Whee!
Go Jags.
Go Jags. All right, look, have yourself a great, safe rest of your day, whatever you're going to be doing. If you're going to be doing some drinking, I understand. I get it. If you've had too much, please don't get behind the wheel of a car. I've lost way too many friends like that. And sure the hell don't go on social media and post dumb shit, because you'll lose all kinds of friends that way. For my man, Brad Stewart, my name is Jason Bailey. As always, thanks for support. Follow, like, share, jasonbailey.com. Talk to you soon. And bye.
I think we should do a podcast about rock and roll. I got some stories.
That's it for this episode. Check out jasonbailey.com for more shows. Until next time.
3 different shows, 5 days a week, 1 feed, details, and to subscribe, jasonbailey.com.